As far as what I want to accomplish today, mainly whatever you guys want to talk about, to be honest with you. You guys want to talk about something specific, let's bring it up. But I want to show you guys the organization of the MIME library. And then what I would like for us to do is figure out what's the best titles, so we can, what I want to do is I have like 275 different subjects right now. And I want to condense that a little bit if we can. And I want to make it easier for people to find, so I'm going to pick your mind and your opinions and stuff like that. So I want you to feel free to contribute today. Let me share the screen. These are the different categories. Okay. And damn, there's a lot of it. Selfish prick. I'm going to fix that. I don't know. See, this one, I don't even know why you have it. Selfish prick. We need to change that. But anyways. Okay, so these are the different categories. And for instance, it's very, each MIME I'll make or that I have on here, I'm trying to put into one category. And a lot of them are, multiple categories. For instance, break this cycle might have all kinds of different things that are, for instance, this one I might want to have in men are happy to be mutilated. So anyways, these are the categories that I've been using. So for instance, you get a lot of men that are happy, so, I guess you could say, with their mutilation, right? So I have a whole, let's make fun of men who are happy to be mutilated, right? So this is some very powerful mimes about making fun of men who are happy to be mutilated, right? I circumcised my son so I'll never feel like I'm missing something. Like these are fantastic. Anyways, as far as the mimes are organized, does anybody have any topics that they like personally that they think should be, I know it's kind of hard to look at these and just kind of figure out because it's too complex, but what I'm trying to do is just make sure these MIME categories are as organized as possible. And has anybody used the website itself for MIMEs and then had any trouble with finding the MIMEs that they wanted to use? Nobody?
Okay. I usually go to Brother K's page.
Okay, well that's a big problem because Brother K has nothing like this. Okay, so this is a fantastic source of mimes, and there's nothing like this on the internet. There's no other mime library for Intactivism that's anywhere close to this. So utilizing, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I've just been doing the thing that you've been saying, just sending out that message about that African girl getting cut, in the article. That's all I've been doing lately.
Yeah, that's all we really need to be doing anyways. We're sending the web forms. So
is that like step one to get them disgusted with cutting girls, and then we go to boys? Is that how it works?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because like with boys, if we start with boys now, they're like, oh, no big deal. But if we get them amped up over girls, then when we tell them about boys, they're more sensitive, and then they'll be more receptive. They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's bad too.
You're utilizing something they already have an understanding of and connecting it to something they don't have an understanding of.
Okay, I just get it.
It's just psychology.
Okay,
it's basic psychology.
It's a good strategy. I agree with you. I just was asking, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I've been doing. But when you start talking about the meme library, I'm just wondering, it just makes me think that there's more that you want me to do, like using that library, because I'm not using the library, except for those three pictures you sent me, but I'm not going to the library.
Well, if you're not using this is for, if you're on Facebook and you're having a conversation or Twitter, or this is a way of giving Intactivists. Okay, when I go on Twitter, right, and I see all these people typing out responses on social media. Okay, you're sitting there typing away. First off, you're going to say the same things over and over and over and over again, right? So you're going to type out the same thing. You're going to say it 5 different ways, 1,000 different times. That's just a waste of time. Okay, it's tedious. You're wasting time. You can answer any of those questions with a mime that is so easy. You just send them a mime and it takes literally less than 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And the mime has it. The meme has a picture. Is it mime or meme? I always get those confused.
Meme. But
Meme. The memes have
All right.
pictures. Okay, pictures are more, like they say pictures, a picture says 1,000 words or 10,000 words. Yeah, so a picture is going to be way more. If you go on there and say, oh, this is traumatic, and then instead of just saying it's way more traumatic, you have a picture of it being way more traumatic.
It's got more force behind it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand why. I mean, if I was just a regular Intactivist and I'm not doing this for what I'm doing this for, and I'm on Facebook, this is the best resource you have. And that's the problem, is nobody's using it, right? Like I spent all this time creating this system and hardly anybody's using it. It's like, it's just a waste of all this effort if nobody's using it. Like I spent hours and thousands of hours on this year trying to put this together just for social media for Intactivists. And then how many people are using it? Hardly any, right? Like, so this is what I'm saying. Like, anyways,
well,
I think
that's why I'm asking you about this. Is I'm saying that I'm only sending off those 3 pictures that you sent me, that you emailed me. So that's why I was.
That's completely different than this, Scott. That's a completely different thing.
Oh,
we're talking about, that's a campaign. This is a website. This is on the website.
So when do we use these memes and where?
Whatever you possibly can, and as often as you possibly can.
Well, okay, because I don't know, outside of the list that you sent me of.
If you get on Facebook,
list I've made, the database that I've made to reach organizations that reach the masses.
That's a different thing, Scott. That's a completely different thing. This is the memes, which is on our website, and then that's a campaign that we're sending out to people through email. Completely different things. This is for my website. So if you guys go on my website right here, I'm just gonna show you guys real quick. This is the mime library. And if you're not using it and you're on Facebook or social media and you're bitching at people on social media and you're not using this, I don't know what you're thinking, because this is like the Ferrari of answering social media. You can, I wish I wasn't blocked on social media. I personally can't be on social media because I was raised to believe that I was a free person with freedom of speech. And since that's not actually the truth, I still act like it.
Yeah.
Oh man. If you guys haven't noticed on my website, I've had some problems lately. It's because the pictures, oh, this is wonderful, isn't it?
Well, hey, Daniel, can you create another profile?
Huh?
Can you create another profile?
What are you talking about? Profile.
You're blocked on social media.
Yeah,
saying like,
social media.
Oh, social media. I mean, I already tried that. You got to have like a live. There's all kinds of things. So supposedly I can do it if I say like, what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to get a new phone. I'm going to have a completely new phone, completely new phone number, and then I'm going to make up a name of somebody, and then I'm going to say that they're 17 and 2 months away from becoming 18. And what I'll do is I'll sign on to that. They won't require, because it's under 17, they can't require an ID, or under 18, they can't require an ID. I'll wait 2 months, and then when I become, 18 according to the account, then I'll have access to everything and I'll be able to do whatever I want. But yeah, for as far as right now, I mean, to be honest with you, me being blocked from social media was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I'm not wasting my time on social media. I'm not having those discussions with loser cutters. I'm not wasting, I mean, there's some value to it. Like there is. That's why I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours creating the Mime Library. This is not for anything else except for people on social media. I don't know who else is going to see this if it's not on social media. Maybe people are going to email these to people, but I doubt it, right? Mimes are for social media. That's what it's there for. So this is for people in social media. Anyways, so this is the Mime library, but the problem is recently I've had some problems with the software, and I'm gonna have to redo this. But the cool thing is I'm gonna do. Why is this so messed up? This is so disappointing. The system that I paid for I guess they try to take money out again, and since I didn't pay them, they they took off the process, which makes no sense because it's when you're building a software, using software, once it's done, it should stay done. You know what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't like regress and all of a sudden take itself off you. But anyways, I have to fix all these guys, so I apologize. But the MIME library is just an easy way to answer any question that somebody has with responses. The thing is it takes time to get used to where these are organized. So I just want to show you guys where the power is in this MIME library. The like if you go to like, for instance, medical benefits. Okay, so we got medical benefits, we got medical ethics. Okay, we got medical professionals against MGM. We got where's the medical quacks? So these are the 4 medical, right? So if you go to medical benefits, you've got cancer, HIV, Medicaid, Medicare, phimosis, STDs, UTIs. And then you have, these are general MIMEs relating to medical benefits. So this would be like, you know, making fun of medical benefits. This is a great one. If you're old enough to know I'm an imaginary character, this picture of Santa, you're old enough to know that the benefits of circumcision are imaginary too, right? So the benefits, right? So this is just, hey, if you get, you want to put something about the benefits, you can quickly go to this and put the benefits. I've kind of separated like different things out. Like for instance, this one that's profit. I need to go through all these and make it and basically get rid of all the duplicates that are in separate folders. I kind of did most of that, but like if you go here, this one right here should be in here. So I'm going to move this here. Okay, and now we see that we have 2 of them. Let me get
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
Can you get a phone soon? A new phone?
To be honest with you, like I want to spend my time doing stuff that has nothing to do with social media. The last thing I want to do is get on social media and be caught up in these annoying conversations with people. I mean,
Okay.
this is
I hear you.
This is social media on steroids. Okay, if you're not utilizing these minds, now think about this as intactivists, right? One of the main things that is important for us in NLI is not to reduplicate what other intactivists are doing, right? I don't want to just have a bunch of duplicates of, you know, this of what everybody else is doing. So everybody created these mimes, right? So people have gone in and spent their hours of their time writing out these mimes. These are obviously intactivists that have been around for a while, you know, that have made these. I haven't made one of these mimes. There's like 4,500 mimes here. I don't know who the freak is the mime factory for intactivism, but whoever that is fantastic. And they're putting out these fantastic.
To you and you don't.
No, I've been saving these for. I've been saving these for over 7 years now.
Where'd you find them?
Everywhere. I've been saving them from the internet.
From I gave you a few.
Social media.
I know I've given you some.
Yeah, you've given me a lot. So I've been collecting these for 7 years now. So unless somebody dedicates 7 years and then makes a website and puts all this stuff together, no one's got any access to anything like this. This is fantastic. And I'm like, I mean, we can't make it any better for intactivists than this, right? It just doesn't get any better. I mean, you can go on here, you can find fantastic mimes, 100,000 in a Petri dish, okay, AAP. There's all kinds of fantastic mimes in here. Why do I circumcise babies? Do I still need to spell it out? I mean, look at these. These are mimes, circumcision flowchart. When the parents ask me the benefits of circumcision, hey, I'm human too. Look at these. I mean, just come on, man. You've got images of them selling it. You can go through this stuff. One of these folders, okay, has fantastic mimes. There's 275 different folders here, okay? So you got profit, you've got, let me show you some other stuff. For instance, the men, so there's a lot of ways to organize this stuff, and the way my mind works is different than everybody else's mind. So when they're going to go through there and they're going to try to find these mimes, I try to make it as simple as possible. And that's why I wanted to just kind of like show you guys this stuff so you guys can say, okay, well, you know, that makes sense, or, you know, maybe there's a category you're missing. I don't know. You might have to go through this on your own because it's just too big to do this, you know, 275 of these at one time. But let me just go over some of the more powerful ones so you guys can start to see what's in here. And here's the deal with all of this stuff is that I'm going to be soon renaming all of these mimes based off of the folder that they're in. And then once that's done, and that's going to take me a bit of time, I can go on here and I'll be able to populate these mimes very, very, very quickly, or all of the images very, very quickly for any of the new programming I'm doing. So it'll make developing new web pages much, much faster and easier. And so this is also powerful for the website itself. So this is going to make the website more powerful. Let me just show you guys some stuff. For instance, FGM. Okay. So if we go to here, FGM horrible, MGM cool, right? Now there's different categories within here. Fathers and males prefer, right? These are very powerful mimes right here. Okay, this one says, I think natural penises look weird. There's so much extra skin. If I have a son, I'm having circumcised, his future wife will thank me. We hear that all the time, right? Here we just throw it in reverse. Okay, I think natural vulvas look weird. There's so much extra skin. If I have a daughter, I'm having her labia trimmed. Her future husband will thank me. You know, just kind of throws it in their face. But anyways, there's that one. Is I prefer women whose genitals have been cut. Okay, you know, these are so powerful. I'm her father, and it's my choice to have her genitals cut, not your business, not your child, right? Look at these mimes, man. We're troopers. Me and my wife took our 3 girls circumcised. Their vulvas look so pretty now with all that, without all that extra skin, right? I mean, just. And here's another one. I don't want a wife. See, all these are powerful mimes, right? How males prefer. You got the medical benefits, right? So these are, you know, medical benefits of FGM, right? The better hygiene. Here's plastic surgery. These are women for a labiaplasty kind of thing. Addressing issues of recurrent irritation, addressing declined sexual stimulation. Why would a woman have a declined sexual stimulation? Can anybody answer that?
Not
Nobody?
Age.
Yeah, I can.
Age.
Huh?
Decline
Age.
sexual stimulation.
One at a
Yeah.
time.
Is that with a partner, a man who's been cut, or is
Of
that
course.
a woman who's been cut? Oh, yeah.
If a man's been cut, think about this. If a man's been cut, and obviously the friction is going to be drastically increased, right? So if
Sounds
a woman's been exposed to a man who has drastically increased friction, that's going to create increased friction for her, which creates more tissue, right? With increased stress creates increased tissue. That's why you get calluses on your fingers, from using a pencil or something, or from lifting weights, or something like that, or even on your feet. You get calluses on your feet because that's where repetitive stress goes through, right? So if you have repetitive stress go through tissues, you create thicker tissue. Okay, so a woman there's 2 ways that this is going to happen. A woman who's with a man, who's been with a man, who is married to a man who's cut, she's been exposed to that lack of the increased friction for 30, 40 years, right? What do you think is going to happen to her vajayjay? It's going to get more, it's going to get thicker. It's going to lay down tissue. It's going to get more, it's going to have more tissue, which means less stimulation, right? So she's going to, over time, she's going to have increased frictions and increased stress, increased tissue, less stimulation. The next way that's going to happen is from cut men who are pounding away. Okay, so they're pounding away. And what happens when you pound away at something? Eventually it gets tougher skin. Thicker skin creates less stimulation, right? So those are the 2 ways, through intercourse itself and through the man pounding away. Okay, that we hear as called as jackhammering, which is an alteration in the sexual behaviors of men due to being circumcised. Okay, so we literally have an alteration that's strange in the actual function of sex itself, which is crazy. Okay, so anyways, that's just some trivial for you. Okay, so female medical benefits. You can go in here and you can, there's these ones right here. I still need to go in and fix all these. Female procedures prevents HIV/AIDS. See, these are reported that in Tanzania, women, the risk of HIV. So there was an actual study that showed that circumcised women had a decrease of passing on HIV to the male partners. Okay. Anyways, females do complain. I just made this yesterday because we got males complain, and so I wanted to put one that females do complain. Just gonna here's a mime. I'm Bora, and I oppose katana because children cannot give informed consent. Right? Bora is the tribe that does the one of those least invasive types of female cutting. Okay, females happy to be mutilated. This is powerful right here. Females who are happy to be mutilated. Okay, I get all these guys so happy to be cut, and you can share my mime. Hey, here's a woman that's happy to be cut. That's just what you sound like. Okay, so anyways, there's still more that could be had with all of these, but Islamic FGM, Nagarwala. There's a Netflix series with FGM. This is interesting. You guys want to see this? This is a really cool mime series. This is a Netflix series. I forgot the name of it. It's a really good series. It's about a detective. Okay, so this is about a female that they run into. Okay, so her parents, they plan to marry her the old way. Okay, so first they must cut her, circumcise her like other women. She begged me and Bennett to hide her. She's 12 years old. What are we supposed to do? Female circumcision, and it's true. It's a tradition in the Somali community for all girls, even little girls, where they take a knife and they cut. I know women who have experienced it. It's horribly painful. Some have died. Some wish they did. Where is this girl, Aisha? Size. Interesting that Aisha is the prophet's wife's name that he married when she was 9, or consummated her marriage with her when she was 9 years old. And if you look at a 9-year-old standing next to an adult, they're like half the size of an adult, which is pretty whatever. Okay, so I got off track. So maybe she figured they were less likely to cut her. Okay, where's the girl now? Okay, she's got family in Canada, so maybe she figured they're less likely to cut her. She never saw her, talk to her. Anyways, the whole idea is that they're going to take this girl away from her family to prevent her from being cut. That's pretty extensive. This is in a movie on Netflix. So these are detectives literally willing to steal a child away from her parents to protect her from being cut. And we have Chase Hieronymus going to court to prevent him from being cut and being forced to being cut by judges and lawyers.
And then you've
anyway,
got
I was talking
where
about Chase.
that little boy was actually taken away from his mother, or threatened to, because she wanted to protect him from it. And they were like, if you let us cut him, we're going to take him away from you. So, I mean, there's your fantasy one, you know, like your movie, and then real life. And there you go. And the comparison there. People are like, no, this doesn't happen for real. But then boom.
But the irony is that it's okay for us to have a Netflix movie that literally is stealing a child away from her parents, okay, to protect her from the cutting that we literally force on our children with mothers like this who are trying to protect their children from it. It's just, the irony is ridiculous. Yeah. Anyways, so I just want to show you guys some of these minds, because it needs to be used. Anybody that's doing social media, I don't care who you are. If you're on social media and you're not utilizing this, you're spending a lot of time that you don't have to have, and you're probably having less success than you would if you would just, like, you can go on here. Let me show you some other ones. Like let's see what else is on here. Psychology, trauma, and pain. This one right here is extremely powerful too. So here we've got pictures that are, there's a lot of pictures. I'm going to show you the images ones too. I have images ones that are really, really powerful. But in the psychology, trauma, and pain, there's a ton of information here. You can go through these. Like here's one. He took it like a champ. Tied down, scared, alone, exposed, and being choked with a pacifier. You know, it just there's a lot of this one right here, circumcision anguish. She has no human rights. Circumcision mutilates genitals and causes PTSD. There's just, you can go through this and just have a field day with this stuff. I mean, these images are very, very powerful. Okay, so we got adverse childhood experiences. This actually comes from the Harvard website. It explains how the trauma creates epigenetic changes in the child, which last for a lifetime. So this talks about ACE, adverse childhood experiences. People with 6 or more adverse childhood experiences die nearly 20 years earlier on average than those without ACEs. We're creating our first ACE in our child as an infant. It's on purpose. Okay, so we got there's a torture, there's trauma-based mind control. I don't know. I had some in there. Trauma bonding. These ones are pretty crazy. This one right here, this is a mom who's like, oh, his baby's so sweet. Now he's embracing me after being mutilated. It's called trauma bonding. So you create the trauma and then you enjoy the bonding that the trauma creates. So trauma creates the need for bonding, right? Because the child's injured and he wants to be, consoled and pretend, and loved on after the trauma. So anyways, the mothers, they soak it up and enjoy this great loving and caring that they caused by the trauma of their child. Crazy. So anyways, I'm going to have these online very, very soon. Now you can see all these are labeled differently, right? These image 3064. So once I go through these and I've organized them completely, I'm going to rename everything on here so that it has the name of the folder. And then what this is going to do, it's going to increase our what's called SEO, or search engine optimization, because all of these words will become searchable by Google, which will help our SEO, and it'll also make it, like I said, easier to pull these up and organize them. So when I'm making a new mime and I go on there, I'll be able to pull up trauma, psychology, men happy, men do complain, all sorts of different things, and get mimes specific to that. And then I'll be able to easily put them and organize the website off of that. So anyways, let's see, psychology, trauma is a very powerful one. Let me see what else is here. There's ones like, for instance, I like this one, even though I don't have that many of them. Wrong with you, not him. I mean, there's really literally one mime. And I think this is one of the most powerful mimes that there is. This one right here. If you think that your healthy newborn requires immediate genital surgery, stop to consider that there might be something wrong with you, not him. Right? And you got a picture of a baby screaming. So that's a very powerful mime. I love that one. So it almost got its own category. Let's see what else is here. I'm going to show you the men are happy. I think I did show you that one. Now let me show you the fathers and mothers. Those ones are very good ones too. So we got fathers here. Okay, so there's a lot of ones in here that are very powerful. For instance, genital mutilation is what they did to my body. I refuse to let them do to yours. These ones right here are very strong for men. So when you get a father that's, in here saying this stuff, send him this kind of stuff, right? This will get him to, remember Scott, you had mentioned in one of those videos that I'm going to be putting into the Intactivist education system that we're going to be creating. Scott, you mentioned this in one of those things because Scott was doing some research for us. And he mentioned how with women, you want to focus on the emotional process. And with men, you want to focus on an outcome process. So with men, for instance, I'm butchering this a little bit, but I'm kind of paraphrasing it. But you said that men want to have a process where they can actually do something, right? They can have a result. They want to accomplish something that gives them a sense of that, if I'm arguing with my wife, it's always about stuff that are like, I'm when she tells me something wrong, I'm like, okay, let's try to fix it. With her, it's like she doesn't want to hear that I'm going to try to fix it. She wants me to understand, right? Yeah. So if I'm sitting here trying to tell her solutions to her problems, she doesn't want to hear that. She wants to hear somebody that cares about her problems, that knows that she's having these problems. She already knows the solution. She doesn't want to hear the solution. With men, we want to hear the solution, right? So if you got to think about how we process things differently, like for instance, this mime right here is going to give the men something to do. Hey, I was damaged and I'm going to protect my child. That's a very powerful mime. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna motivate men right here. This is another one right here. Happy birthday, perfect little boy. I won't let them mutilate you. Genital mutilation ends with me. Men, we have to end this. It's up to us. Look at that. You got a man with a baby, right? A father with a baby. See, that's powerful right there, right? So if you're having these conversations with men and you're out there typing out responses, you are wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You could be setting in these mimes. It takes a fraction of a second. It's 10,000 times more powerful, and it's easier, right? Well, I just already said that, but it's easier, right? How do you get around that? It's faster, it's easier, and it's simple. Now, here's the deal as well. anybody that's a volunteer for NLI, that's taking their time to help with the process of this stuff, or that's joining our meetings, anybody that's involved, okay? If you're listening to this, I include you, okay? Anybody that's involved, no matter what way. If you say to me, hey, I want to have access to your MIME library, okay, but I don't want to have to go online and download an image every single time, okay? What I can do is I can share this folder with you. Okay, these are my images, child genital mutilation. I can share this whole folder with you. All of these with all the mimes. Let me see how big it is right now. It's 3.47 gigabytes.
Hey Daniel.
Yes.
So when earlier you were talking about, the dad holding the child and saying that I protected him, it almost reminds me of there's the troll page search choice, and what they did is they said that I protected him from STDs, basically like an evil version of that. It just, yeah.
I mean, the more the cutters talk, the better off we are, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So the more they speak, the more they open their mouth, the more they show themselves, the better off they are, the better off we are. So to me, if when let's see, they had counter protesters. Oh, let me show you this one. This one's a fun one. I have circumfetish pedophiles and psychopaths. Okay, we got circumfetish pedophiles and psychopaths. So right here, we got all kinds of weirdos. We got Edward Showen. We got Brian Morris. We've got an actual picture of a circumfetish jerking off to a circumrestraint. This, you can't make this shit up. Okay, disgusting. So anyways, yeah, these ones are very powerful to use for. These are more of like a personal thing against Mr. whoever the hell this guy is, Brian Morris. Man, look at his face. He looks like he was made out of leather, like leather. Just like, who was that guy that horror figure who puts his Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where he puts himself in the skin of other people, of his victims? He kind of looks like that. Anyways, all right, what else do we got here? We got AAP. AAP's very, very powerful mimes against AAP. This is one of my favorite ones right here. The Emperor Has No Clothes, AAP, No Ethics, CDC, Mom, Dad, PBS, MDC. You got a little boy here, My Body, My Right, Congress, and you got this naked ass emperor. We're walking right past him. It's pretty cool, right? PBS, CDC, CNN, Dad, Mom. I mean, come on, this is fantastic. And the fact that somebody spent their time to create this, right? And we have to use it. We have to utilize it. This is another one. It's got the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkeys on top. It's got the task force on circumcision, blind to the rights of humans, silence on the value of foreskin, deaf to the screams of babies. I mean, look at these. The health benefits of newborn male circumcision outweigh the risk, American Academy of Pediatrics. And you got these pictures. They outweigh the risk of death. Really? I mean, these are awesome, right? This one right here, routine infant fingertip amputation, medical benefits, reduced nail infections, reduced nail fungus, reduced ingrown nails, reduced some urinary nail cancer. American Academy of Pediatrics, 2012. I mean, it's awesome mimes, right? There's tons of them in here. You got AAP. I just created one on Brian, or no, Bill Gates. I had to put one separate here for Bill Gates. And we can put more in here, of course. Super rich American guy with half his penis uses shit science to convince entire nations to cut up their penises too. I mean, come on, that's fantastic, right? Let's see what else here. There's so many different things here. Anybody can now. Once I put these online, it'll be a lot easier to download them. But see what else is there. Child abuse is a very good one right here. The child abuse ones. I still need to fill out a lot of these, but for instance, this one right here is a very fantastic mime. you guys seen this one? Circumcision, why do you always have this mask on? You got circumcision, you lift it up. Circumcision, child abuse, let's keep this on. Yeah, that's a great mime, whatever. Okay, what else is there? You got history. Okay, you've got images of the different quacks and weirdos. Believe there's a direct link, Dr. Richard Buck. Let's see what else. We got John Harvey Kellogg on girls. We got Dr. Ramondino, really weirdo. He wrote the book called History of Circumcision. That's a weirdo. I mean, when you read the stuff of this, it's fantastic. American history. So there's also very awesome ones in the anatomy, structure, and function. So if you go up here, embryonic development of the sex organs, you've got female anatomy, you've got mechanical function and protection. These have got different mimes that relate to different function and protection. This is one of my favorite ones. This is John Atkinson. If I leave my tongue out like this, it will dry out, become callous, and lose much of its functionality, like a circumcised penis. What a fucking fantastic meme, right? Look at that. I love that one, John. That's a really good one. This one right here, how it actually functions. Anatomy lesson and no medical anatomy lesson that a medical professional should not need, but of course they do. So this explains how it functions. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Sensation. Here's where all the, for instance, information on the tactile corpuscles. This is the structure of a tactile corpuscle. You've got Meissner corpuscles right here in the skin. You've got pictures of Dr. Sorrell's study with the fine touch sensitivity testing. Okay, you've got comparisons left in, the circumcised versus intact. This is a very powerful one because it uses vision. You got the blurred vision on the left and the clear vision on the right. I like that one because it really illustrates the effect. Okay, and so there's tons of these little ones here. This is another really good one. Sex out of foreskin is like being colorblind. You've got the crayons right here. Pretty cool. Here's another really good one. This is like a fire or exploding geyser versus a water hose. Intact versus circumcised. So there's a lot. There's the anatomy, structure, and function. Here's the size. This one is the size. The size is very valuable. You hear all this kind of stuff about the size of it. This one right here is one of my favorite ones. Just a snip. Okay. The adult male foreskin is 10 to 20 square inches of functional and highly erogenous sexual tissue, larger than the palm of your face, the cheek, the palm of your hand, or the cheek on your face. That's a large amount of tissue, right? So just a snip, that's a very powerful mime right there. And so anatomy, structure, and function. What else is there? We've got a general category as well. And these are ones that just have different stuff that I kind of had a hard time just kind of organize. A, B, C, D, G. Where is it? Here we go, general norms. So these ones, like for instance, this one will have a bunch of different reasons, not 10 reasons not to circumcise baby boys. Just general information on, like for instance, this one, the general mutilation of children is outrageous. It's my hope that you share my moral indignation for any parent that forces on their child any religion or endorses that, whatever. Okay. Cut pumpkins, not babies. Okay, so you can see a lot of want to know how I got my scars. That's cool. Okay, cut buds, not boys. Legalize marijuana, criminalize circumcision. Fully support that mime. This one's a good one. Even just the image, right, of the baby with the blood. It's just these are powerful images. Okay, does anybody have anything that they want to add to this? I just want to show you guys this so you guys can start realizing how powerful it is. I mean, and I know this isn't online yet. Well, it was online. The problem with why it's not online currently is the fact that the system I was using to put it online, apparently I didn't pay them, and so now their system doesn't work. So I got to find a system that doesn't have this issue where if I build it and I don't have to continually pay them forever just to have it up. So I'm going to find a new system. But once this is up and running, it'll be crazy. There's going to be a lot more mimes than we had before. And there's also going to be, the categories are going to hopefully be a little bit easier. I'm still working on this. This is still a work in progress. There's so many things here. Things cutters say. This is one of my favorite groups of mimes. You can go through this. What things cutters say. Ruthless moms. When they did circumcision, he screamed so loud, I definitely got confirmation that the surgery was complete. With a smiley face, or not with a smiley face, with a kiss. Crazy. Okay, let's see what else you got here. We live in a generation where parents get bullied for circumcising their son. It's quite sad. Actually, that's quite happy. That's how it should be. I love this mime because I just found this one recently. But anyways, let's see. What else is this one? So-and-so got circumcised yesterday. And when I tell you he was so cranky and clingy today, I couldn't move without my baby fussing. If I let that pacifier fall out of his mouth, he was hollering. Poor son. He probably spoiled too. That's my love. Probably spoiled, laughing emojis, and then right. So craziness, these things that people say. So you can go on here and there's a ton of things that cutters say. That's a very powerful group of mimes. Let's see what else. We grow up. I know that I like this one. We grow up. Here's Bob's mom. I had Bob circumcised at birth. It was a personal choice. Bob yelling at his mom, it's not your penis. Let's see what else. Thank me. I like this one. Okay, one day, my son will thank me one day. No one will thank you for carving him a smaller penis. Got a loser sign. That's cool, right? Circumcision missed me. Thanks, mom and dad. So I turn it around on him. My son will thank me and show him some babies not circumcised. Okay, it's just a snip, just a tip. He'll thank me. Okay. I was born in America in 1987. How was I so lucky not to be cut? I really need to thank my parents. Ha. Okay, so what was the last one? Actually, I think he'll thank me later for not cutting his penis. Common sense, so uncommon that you really need the statistics. That one there. Oh, there's this other one I created. The Arabic mimes. Did you guys know that there's a whole Arabic Intactivist community? And I was flabbergasted when I found out about them. They're really fantastic. But these are a bunch of mimes. I can't read them to you because they're in Arabic, but these are a bunch of Arabic mimes. So we definitely want to be able to have a place where Arabic Intactivists can go find some mimes that they can use, right? I mean, I'd definitely like to make this grow, but I mean, look at these. Some person, an Arabic speaker, went and grabbed a bunch of these mimes. This is a mime that we have in our psychology, and then they filled it out in Arabic. That's fantastic. That means they had to go in and do graphic designing, pull off the English words, and then put in Arabic, translate it, and put it together. So someone's done the work on this, right? We got to put it to use. You know, we got to put it to use, and that's what this mime library is all about: is putting all this fantastic work to use, so that Intactivists can have a system they can utilize, and they can go online. And man, it's so frustrating. I was on Twitter recently before I got Twitter banned for the second or third time. I'm looking at these responses, and all of the responses are typed. And I'm just like, oh my God, why are people doing this? Why are we typing these out? Like every response they have to these people, they're typing it out. And literally you got 20, 30 Intactivists going at it with, you know, typing out these long diatribes. And I'm just like, man, just get on here, grab a mime, send it, and then forget about it. Your Intactivism needs to be as effective and powerful as possible. So that's what this is. This is about making social media more powerful and effective, right? That's the whole point of this. You know, so we got to use these. We've got to use these. Oh, I wanted to show you the men one, because a lot of these, you know, I have to organize it the way I would find them. And so people are different. They're going to come to it different ways. So, for instance, you could say fathers or men. They're, you know, different ways of saying this. Men do complain. Men have to be sexual. Men mutilated as adults. Men's rights. So these kind of categories, and you got the fathers, and you got the mothers, and you got the parents, right? So you have all these different categories. Well, let's see. Men do complain. This is another fantastic series of mimes. Let me show you some of my favorites here. This is one of my favorites. You hoped I'd forget circumcision. You underestimate me. I love this one. I mean, that's a very powerful mime, right? You're flipping the script on these people. Instead of following into their debate tactics, arguing with them, just, try different things sometimes. Try speaking them from a different way, a different perspective, and see how they respond to it. Let's see what else is in here. This one is a very powerful one. Go ahead.
Do you have anything about mothers that are, or just society brainwashed?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Thank you for asking. Let me just open up this one, and I'm going to show you this one. Strapping down a newborn, rip apart fused tissues so they can be crushed and sliced away from his genitals without medical cause while he's awake and feel it is wrong. Okay. That's a very powerful mime. I love that one. What else is there? There's one more I was going to show you guys. Well, this one is a very strong one. This is a bloodstained man. I never heard a man angry at circumcision. You live in a cave. It's got the bloodstained men on, walking down the street. Very strong mime. This one's a very good one here. This one, you wouldn't circumcise a dog. Show your child the same respect. It's got a man, with blood on his genitals. This one right here. I think this is Dan Bollinger. I'm not sure if who's this. I think this is Dan. I'm not sure, but I know he's one of the original Intactivists. Been around for a long time. So every man has two stories: the one he can't forget, and the one he can't remember, and the one he can't forget. That's a strong mime. I'm sorry, but there's nothing you can type out that will say anything near what that mime will communicate. Right? You got a picture of him and next to the baby. That's a strong mime, right? Of course, if it's as well if it's got other things. This is the one I was trying to show you. This is the Intactions. This was put together by Intaction, which is a group in New York. I forgot his name. This is the guy, the one in the middle here, who put this together. Oh, what was his name? Anthony Lasquadro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to one of his
protests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony likes to focus on the positive, the positive aspects instead of like the negative. So, but I don't know. That's a very powerful one mime. I did not consent, right? And look at that. That's strong. So, anyways, here's pictures of a bunch of men holding these signs, right? That say that they're not happy with their circumcision, right? So when people say, I've never heard anybody that's complained about it, you really can you can go through these and see all these very strong mimes. Okay, so these are men holding up pictures. Another thing I would like to do is I would like to add to these ones specifically. So men that are that want to make a mime like this, I'll put this on my website if you want to send this to me. So if you want to make a mime like this, it's got pound. I am not thankful for having half the skin of my penis brutally carved off when I was a newborn, unable to defend myself. No, I do not remember it, but neither does a rape victim when they are drugged. So that make it okay for them too. I have a scar on my penis to remind me of every time I urinate, and I'll suffer from the complications of circumcision the rest of my life. For those of you who still wield a knife on a defenseless infant's genitals, I hope you lose all feelings in your hands the same way you clearly lost all feeling in your heart. I mean, that's strong, right? You got a picture of the gentleman right here holding that image, right? And you guys have seen these types of mimes, not for this topic, but kind of go viral, right? Especially if it's a female rape victim, or imagine if this was a female FGM victim in America. That mime would be very, very powerful. Okay, so you really have to go through these and figure out which mimes are going to work best. But there's so many here. Like I did this one earlier. The men that are happy to be sexually crippled. There's so many good mimes here. I'm missing a few of them. I'm still like I said, I'm still putting these together. Here's a really good saying right here from Brian Harity. When a man wraps his head around his circumcision, it's a horror he must live with forever. And that's why men choose to live in denial and claim they have no problem being cut. Brian Harity. That's a cool mind, right? Let's see. There's just a lot of things in here. Oh, complications. I want to show you some of the main ones, you know, and you can see that there's additional links underneath these. So you got complications, you've got bleeding, you've got David Reimer, you've got death, eardrum bursting, glands amputation, latching, which is problems with breastfeeding, longer breathing problems, you got meatal stenosis, necrotizing fasciitis, you got scarring, SIDS, skin bridges, UTIs, vomiting. So if you look at like here in the bleeding one, right? And you open these up, these have got, this is a really good one right here. A newborn baby is in a stage of critical hemorrhage from the loss of just 1 ounce of blood. A newborn baby will die from a loss of 2.3 ounces of blood. And that's the amount of blood in a shot glass with the quarter on top, with the quarter standing up, with the shot glass. That's how much, that's 2.3 ounces of blood a baby can die from, right? And then you got all these memes of, and you send that one first, and then you send them a bunch of these pictures of bloody diapers. And you're like, well, and the people are thinking, is that 2.3 ounces? Wow, that looks more than 2.3 ounces. You know, they're thinking that in their heads. So again, these are, yeah, a picture of a bloody diaper like that is more powerful than any typing words that you can say. I don't care if you're Shakespeare himself, your writing cannot communicate what these pictures do. Okay, so that's why it's so important we use it. These ones right here, look at this. Let me pull the larger one. That's disgusting. These are different diapers from different babies, right? This is crazy. Oh, and there's a category for crazy too. Let's pull up the crazy category. I love this one. Okay, this is one of my favorites. So I said, and that's how you do a circumcision where I come from. I don't know. It's just crazy. When people think that it's cutting a baby's penis is normal, call you crazy. I mean, it can't get any crazier than that, right? This is another one. In America, strapping a child into restraints and ripping apart his genitals is normal, but speaking out against it is inappropriate. Imagine, if you will, a world where people cut parts off children's genitals off. Okay, Intactivism, the totally insane belief that both these children should be protected from unnecessary surgical interventions. Right? So, I mean, look at this one. Every 27 seconds, the penis of a baby boy is mutilated because of ignorance, fear, or greed. Right? So, I mean, again, when you get people calling you crazy, when oh, you're a Looney Tunes, there's more important things to do. Oh, the more important things to do. I'm glad I thought about that, because this is where I need to really mention this, is there's two categories for more important things to do. Let me pull up more important things to do. Hold on. More important things to do, better things to do, right? So both of these, you get mimes that say there's better things to do with your time, or you get some mimes that say there's more important things to do with your time. So if you come on here and you look for better things to do, you're not going to find it, but you will find more important things to do. Why? Because I don't want to have two separate folders for literally the same thing. So this is where you kind of, it takes a while to know where to look for these things, to figure it out, but it's so worth it because, you know, these mimes are, again, very strong. Like, for instance, this one, I'll stop talking about foreskins publicly when you stop removing them forcefully. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Martin Luther King Jr. SavingSons.org. It's great. So Saving Sons is pumping out a lot of these mimes, right? These are fantastic mimes. We got to share them. We got to get these mimes out there so that, I mean, it's just too powerful not to. Here's another one of my favorite ones. This is me not giving a shit who was offended by my post about keeping babies safe and intact. Right? You know, you get people, oh, you're crazy, more important issues. Okay. Intactivist cult meeting today, we're going to continue telling people to leave children alone. Right? This is a fantastic one. There are more important issues like battling sexism, exposing medical fraud, fighting for equal rights, promoting positive sexuality, insisting on individual freedoms, protecting children from assault, exposing failures of the legal system, pointing out lack of journalistic integrity, demanding disclosure of research or bias, protecting children from unnecessary harm, drawing attention to wasteful expenditure of tax dollars, educating people in the sordid history of forced genital cutting, honoring those who suffer from all the failures of all the above. I think I'll stick to this issue. Thanks. Boys deserve better. I mean, you want to type all that out and then send it and then do that over and over and over again? Think about it. With this little mime, you grab it, you download it, you send it. It's just so easy. Look at this one. Yup, I'm fighting your right to take a knife to somebody else's penis. Deal with it. Since Rosemary Romberg, since babies have no words, we must speak for them. Their screams must be heard. We will scream too. Like, God damn, like that gives me goosebumps. That's Rosemary. She was one of the fantastic, I would consider her a mother in Intactivism. I don't know if you know her story, but I met her at the AAP convention in 2018. And I promised her that we would end genital cutting. She's passed away, but she was a fantastic Intactivist, a leader of the movement. She wrote a book. What's the name of that book? It's online. It's free online book. Anyways, I'll look for that. Maybe I can find it right here because I have, hold on one second. I have a whole selection for Rosemary. Let me pull her up. Oh, for instance, Rosemary Romberg. I've got a bunch of mimes here for Rosemary. This is Rosemary. This talks about how we lost Rosemary. She's fantastic. The seeds of Intactivism. Rosemary was a regret mother. The seeds of Intactivism has been nourished in water with the tears of regret parents. That's fantastic right there, right? Especially for male Intactivists who have a hard time with accepting regret parents. I think regret parents are fantastic and should be encouraged, because if you can come out and admit that you did something horrible and harmful to your child, and you can admit that, you have put yourself beneath, you have put your child in over yourself, right? You have acknowledged your mistake, and you have put your child in front of your own ego. And that takes a special person to be able to do that when the society accepts your self-lie. So when you're lying to yourself, you know, like a parent who's not a regret parent who's done this, okay, you're literally lying to yourself about what you did. Okay, you have to maintain that lie. Well, if society around you helps you to maintain the lie, it takes a special person to say, you know what, even society, even though society is not judging me, I judge myself, right? That takes a special person. So anyways, my mother's a regret mother. I love regret mothers. Okay. But anyways, so if the Rosemary's on here, I think I have Brother K on here somewhere. I have Bloodstained Men on here. We have, I'm going to be filling out, for instance, Your Whole Baby. They have some fantastic mimes. Now these are all related to other things. So once I put Your Whole Baby and connect them into the mimes, these will populate. So I'll have a whole lot more of these. So anyways, what else should I show you? Things cutters say, trash, put your part of your baby in the trash. This is a pretty powerful mime. He's so beautiful. He's so perfect. Now that you've met him, fall in love. Can you imagine a piece of his body sitting in the trash? Okay. You know, even if you wrote this out, without this picture, it's just not going to have the same effect. You know what I'm saying? Even if you wrote these words out, it's a fantastic saying. But even if you wrote those out, you would not, because that baby right there, just the picture is adding to the power of the influence of that post, right? Let's see, what else is there? Marilyn Milos, I know I put her on here somewhere. Some of these, like I said, haven't been filled out completely. Try to find Marilyn. Did I put her in here? Maybe I haven't. I will be putting Marilyn Milos. But anyways, these are just a few of the people. We do have Brett on here. Brett is a cockfight with Brett Johnson. Okay, we got some of his mimes up here. Nobody wants less penis, cockfight.org. Hopefully Brent will be doing a tour this fall at the universities, sharing many pictures like this at football games full of students. Nobody wants less penis, cockfight.org, circumcision is unnecessary roughness. Brett actually was published in these articles. There's 98.9 therockradio.com. Look at this, pretty fascinating. The Donnie Dare morning show got Brett on there. Okay, so anyways, tons and tons of mimes. CDC. I need to fill that one out a little bit more. Oh, break the cycle. This is another really good one. I think breaking the cycle is a really kind of a cool term. It's got some power to it. Break the cycle. This is another one that gives men empowerment right here. Okay, today's parents are saying no to circumcision. Okay, oh, I know what else I was going to show you guys. It's the images. These are my go-to when I want to create shock and awe. Okay, these are my shock and awe images. Now, the ones without genitals are going to be a lot easier to share on places like Facebook. You know, so I specifically have these. Some of these are, as you can see, blocked out or censored, but these don't have. These just show images of children going through it, right? I mean, just look at this image. Nothing that you can say will convey that image. You know, look at this. Boy screams being circumcised at a local hospital. The pictures are so much more powerful than the words. We got images of mutilation without genitals. You got with genitals. So these are ones that you would, you know, like maybe share in different places. These are some very, very strong mimes because of the content, because you actually see the process itself. And when you see it, you can't unsee it, right? You know, these images are alarming, to say the least. And when you see them, they're just, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're doing this to children's genitals. You can't deny these images. Look at this one. That's crazy. It's a child. Genital mutilation will be inflicted on more than 3,000 boys today in the United States. Okay. It's crazy that we do this. Okay, circumcision is a ripoff. Okay. The scar. It's not painful. It's excruciating. Okay. So these images of mutilation with genitals, images mutilation versus intact. So these are like the images of the scarring and stuff versus the keratinization versus the protected glands and internal mucosa. You got images of faces during and after. This is, if I was going to just choose one folder to go to, this would be the folder I would go to. And even more so than the ones I just showed you with the images of the genitals. Because these are just, I mean, you see them, right? This is what we're doing to our children. Okay, we could sit here and talk about this all day, but nothing is going to be as powerful as these pictures. Before, after. Look at that child's face. We are, as human beings, we are in tune with the meaning of facial expressions, right? We can infer lots of information by someone's facial expressions. Okay, and this is universal. They've done studies on this. Okay, before a child reaches verbal language, okay, this child is communicating with us through his eyes. Look at his face here to his face here. This is one of trust, of maybe curiosity of the world, of, you know, like excitement. This is the one of trauma, damage. You can see the tears, the extra moisture in his eyes. You can see the look on his face, the narrowness near the front of the eyes. and the contour of his I forgot this muscle. I used to know it. This muscle of his eyebrow here. Okay, I mean, look at this. This child just leaned back his face and contorted. Look at this image right here. Look at that child's face. This is something that should not be done to children. And so if you're posting on social media and you're not using this, I don't know what you're doing. Look at this. Broken baby eyes his mother after circumcision. That's a face of lost trust. Of why did you do this to me? That's a face of distrust. I don't know if there's a lot more to that. That word is not itself explaining it, but I mean, look at all these images. You can't. I mean, look at this father making a joke about. Look at his face. This is complete oblivion to what this child is experiencing. This is weird, right? This is what our culture does to the mind of a man. This man here, this is not normal human behavior. This is super weird. This is altered human behavior.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is okay. When someone says to me, "This guy's fine," this guy's okay, you know, like maybe he goes to his job and he goes to work and he loves his wife and he lives his life and he has no clue how this has affected him.
It's brainwashed. It's weird.
This is a sign of the trauma. This is not normal for a person to be okay with their child going through such a horrible procedure. It's just not normal. Yeah, I mean, Sarah gets it. It's just crazy that we're doing this. I mean, look at this face. Okay, I mean, the man is. Listen to this. This right here. Listen to what the mother says. My little man is a champ. Fresh out of his circumcision, did not cry even once. The look on his face is priceless. The way he's holding his hands with a big smile. This is a correct interpretation by someone that's obviously way more in tune than that mother is, okay? Martin Grossman says, the incredible pain and shock and betrayal on his face, the pure shock, the traumatized look of a freshly mutilated baby. The mother laughs at him. Look at his fingers clenched, the knuckles white, the face in horror. Look at the way he's looking at his mother. Okay, a child, a baby, they don't have the awareness that we do of, you know how you do the peekaboo when the child laughs, you go behind thing and you pop up and all of a sudden you're there, and you popping into existence is funny to the child because he doesn't recognize permanence. Okay, you understand that psychological trait of humans. That's why you do the peekaboo with little children, because you cover your face, the child thinks you disappeared, right? Then you show your face, all of a sudden you appear. That's funny to the child. That's what peekaboo is. Okay, that's a psychological development stage where the child then realizes that even though you covered your face, you still exist there. Okay, that's an awareness of the child. This is pre that level of awareness. Okay, so what does that child know? He doesn't know anything except his mother, really. So when he connects the trauma that he's experiencing, even though it's a doctor that's doing it, he's connecting that pain and that trauma to his mother. This is creating a psychological state of lack of trust in the female side of the male having a lack of trust of the mother. Okay, now if you can't extrapolate how this affects relationships 20 years down the line, then you haven't studied psychology or you don't understand psychology. Okay, so it's I mean, these mimes are so strong, and that's why I spent all this time putting all these together, because I realized, hey, all these intactivists have made these mimes, and they're just being who's organizing these, who's putting these in the central system so that that intactivists can access these mimes. And the answer is nobody's really done that, and that's why I wanted to do this, because I thought it's so important. And then I've done it, and then the fact that people aren't using it is really sad to me, because I go on Twitter and I'm looking at these people typing out these responses, and I'm like, man, what a waste of time. Okay, and look at this. You guys can see this page right here: circumcision anguish, puffy red eyes, hands clenched so hard they are white and purple. Okay. There's no typing that can come close to showing that. Okay. Look at this one. Baby passed out in shock. Mom believes nurses and doctors who call it sleep. The only little man I know that could sleep through his own circumcision. What a champ. Look at that baby's face. If you think that baby was sleeping, his eyes are wet. He looks like he's like completely disassociated, disattached. This actually teaches disassociation and detachment. So, the idea that, look at this child's face. Okay, well, what is his face trying to tell you? This is a child trying to connect with his mother because he feels abandoned. Not because he's a sweet little baby with cute eyes and making a cute face. No, this is a child who feels abandoned, who's trying to reconnect emotionally with his mother. That's what this face means. Why did you do this to me? I'm still trying to reconnect to you. Okay? I mean, that's what we're doing to our children. The face when you've been get circumcised and you've been crying, my poor baby. I mean, wow, the disassociation of the mother to her natural protective instincts of the child is just fantastic. I mean, this is another one. You see the picture before, you see it after. I mean, it doesn't take any type of a 5-year-old can figure this out, guys. Like we're literally dealing with brainwashing that is literally so powerful that gravity has been turned upside down. Black is white. Common sense is lost completely. Sleeping beautifully. Okay, look at this face. It's just, I mean, this is another one. This is a very powerful one. Before and after. Look at this kid's face after. Yeah, it's cool before. Cute little face, right? Now look at him after. Look at his hands. What is he doing with his hands? What does this mean? Okay, he's like, his hands right there is protective, right? He's pushing away. He's protecting himself. So these facial expressions, the body language means something. Okay, look at this face. This is what we're doing to our children. And again, the images say, just is so much more powerful than any type of argument you can write. Any type of typing. This is another really good one. The family picture was ruined. So little man goes back to get circumcised. I guess slips out of his mittens and come back with a serious clawed up face. I guess the doctors and nurses thought it was okay to let him claw his face up pretty good. And right before family pictures at that, oh my God, that's the real problem with this is the family pictures. Oh my God, the family pictures. Oh my God, the family pictures. Let's take a moment of silence for the family pictures. It's crazy. Okay, the picture looks better than the reality, sadly. Don't know about anyone else, but no matter what, I wouldn't let a baby claw themselves like this if they were in my care. It literally takes 1 to 2 seconds to slip that mitten back on. I'm pretty ticked off, Dad, here. How about you should be slapping yourself, Dad. You should be punching yourself in the face. Because if you were gonna be ticked off about anything, it should be about the trauma you inflicted on your son that you caused this, not the doctor. But I mean, yeah, the doctor, This is the guy right here. Crazy. Okay. Anyways, these faces after, before, and after. Again, if I was going to use one folder out of all of these folders, this would probably be it, because these faces tell it all, and they won't get you banned. There's no. You can have an argument to your blue in the face, and then you show these pictures, and there's no arguing this, right? Like there's literally no arguing this when you show these pictures. So again, this I wanted to spend a lot of time on this so you guys can see the power of this, because this is going to be fantastic. This will be up very, very soon. I'm finishing up kind of just what I'm doing right now is I have like a couple thousand mimes on my phone, and I'm just going through those. And but anyways, utilize this. Again, if anybody wants to have access to this system itself, I'm going to put this on I had it on Dropbox, but I need to redo it. But anyways, let me see. It's got like 3-point-something gigs. I had it a second ago. Come on. Okay, 3.47 gigs. So you can have this on your computer, and answering these questions is so fast when you have this on your computer. It's just fantastic. You go on here, you could scroll down to whatever image you want, or whatever topic you want, and just fill it up. Anybody have any questions on this? Anybody want to add something to it?
Well, I mean, earlier I got this message from a Cutter supporter. They blocked me. They sent me like a really long paragraph, and I don't know if you want me to read it or not, but then they blocked me, so I couldn't reply.
Yeah, go ahead and read it. I want to hear it.
But it says, okay, I will pray for you. Yes, I have regulations. I know where people are coming from when it comes to circumcision. You have no right coming on my cousin's post or anyone's post and laughing at comments. Her baby and his life, any detail of it, has zero to do with you and your penis, whether circumcised or not. Honestly, you shouldn't be thinking of children and their genitals at all. Kindly never react to any post of hers. You can't respect disrespect, and you are nothing but disrespectful to her and her baby. You don't care. You're putting on a show, and I see through you. God has amazing things for her and her family, and for you too. So do better things with your time, please, for the better of everything. And then she blocked me.
Yeah. See, that's okay. When you get done with that, you feel like, okay, what was really accomplished with the conversation was, well, first off, probably, there might have been some seeds planted from the friends and family that read that. There's, so you did something, but as far as like getting validation or having a feeling of accomplishment, like you feel good about something, like you feel like, hey, I really did something, that the feeling isn't there, right? You don't feel like, hey, I got anywhere, or you weren't even able to respond. And, what I would say is the ego wants to respond because you know how to respond to that. You know that you're right. You know how ridiculous that statement is. It's wrong on so many different levels. And we have mimes for that, right? We have tons of mimes for that. So, the ones that I showed you earlier, more important things to do. So you go to that more important things to do, I guarantee you there'll be tons of mimes that you could, like, let's say that she hadn't blocked you. Well, there's tons of things you could do. This one, yeah, I'm fighting for your right to take away a knife to somebody else's penis, deal with it. There's just so many things. Speaking that America strapping down a child in restraints, ripped apart his genitals is normal, but speaking out against is inappropriate. These were mimes that are specifically made to deal with that level of stupidity, right? So, and I'm going to fill this out a little bit more. I have some on my phone that are pretty fantastic for this as well. But here's another one, for instance, American circumcision. We're sorry, son. We don't have time for you. We're too busy solving world hunger and homelessness, the American people, right? So, this is for her to say something like that. This is another one. This is that one from Rosemary Momberg. Since babies have no words, we must speak for them. Their screams must be heard. We will scream too. Okay, so you can only just counter it. I wouldn't spend time writing out a reply to her. I just send her a bunch of these mimes. Send her images. Send her images of the faces before and after. Okay. Protection. Here's another one. Oh, I didn't show you guys this one, so I'm glad you kind of brought it up. Protect children. This is a whole category right here, which I think is fantastic. This got some fantastic mimes in it, like this one right here. Protect him with your life. Don't perfect him with a knife. Okay, and I've got a picture of a baby there. All children deserve protection. All children deserve protection. Got a picture of a person there. There's tons of there's a really good one. Now this probably isn't exactly for that one, but how dare you comment on my pro-cutting thread with your facts, knowledge, and statistics? You should be ashamed of yourself trying to defend babies, right? There's so many good responses to that weirdness that you get, and so you're gonna have a response to everything literally in this mime library. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't write out, you could put a mime and then put a few words to it as well. I'm not saying you shouldn't, speak your words, but I'm just saying don't waste your time. And on something like that, where you're being pulled into these cutter conversations on Twitter or YouTube, mime it. Don't type it, okay? Because if you're typing it, you're wasting your time. Okay, what I want you to do is, this is the goal of all Intactivists. Instead of typing, mime it, and then take all that free time that you save not typing away and speaking to this one cutter parent. Help me speak to thousands of high value targets, okay, through our outreach and education system, okay? Spend less time responding to cutter parents through typing, more time sending memes, mimes, whatever the hell it is, and more times, helping NLI do real intactivism. I'm not saying that social media is not real intactivism, but it's limited. We've had that conversation a million times. Okay. Any other questions? That was a very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Did I answer it? I mean, there's really no way to respond to that besides, just, some mimes like this.
Yeah, I think so. But like when someone blocks you, I mean, even if you had all the answers, it's like, okay, well, I would respond if you didn't block me.
Well, see, that's my point. You're going to be able to reach some people and some people you're not. Now, was it valuable? I don't know where this conversation came from, but was it valuable? Did she have friends that maybe read your posts? Yes. But if you go on these pages and you've got like 30 or 40 intactivists responding to this single cutter and her group of 5 redneck, uneducated, work at Walmart and, cashier at the grocery store. And I'm not making fun of people. I have a shitty job, but I'm just saying, like, these are not educated people with degrees and stuff, that you're having conversations with. These are not people that have an influence over lots of babies being cut, like a doula or a midwife or, a child psychologist or, a reporter who could write an article. These are not people with value and influence. So, I mean, it is valuable because that's part of changing the culture. I mean, it is part of it, right? If people type circumcision online and then intactivists respond to them, that's powerful, right? That should happen. That's what I encourage. I definitely encourage it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing it. What I'm saying is, let's be smarter about it. Let's organize our time so that we're effective and efficient. We're not spinning our wheels. You shouldn't even be worried about that, Lady James. You shouldn't even be thinking about her. I mean, I get it. Like, that's an important topic to discuss because we have to acknowledge the situation. But let's acknowledge the situation and realize that, hey, wasting your thoughts or your energy or even your emotions behind that, right? Because I'm sure that your feelings after leaving that conversation weren't great. Like, you didn't feel like you do after you just finished sending the media web forms to California or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Missouri. I just did the Missouri.
Yeah, like for instance, Missouri. You sending the whole thing to Missouri. When you finish that, there's a great sense of accomplishment. But you don't get that from that social media. I mean, there are responses like, for instance, this one is Intact Success Stories. I love this one here. Success Stories of Intactivism. So should we be out there speaking? Okay, this is Amanda Clover. I don't know. Okay, here. After you sent me that stuff, I read that and I did a little bit more research. And me and my boyfriend talked about it. He's in med school. We both agreed that when we do have a baby, he will not be circumcised. Thank you. And then Amanda, I'm tearing up with a big heart. One baby saved is worth 100 arguments lost. Yes, true, right? True. Okay. Little Paxton will be whole. No one can tell you can't make a difference. I will make my voice loud and I won't hold back. I will never have all the parts I was born with, but because I open my mouth, a little boy won't be cut like I was. I am just a part of this, but believe me, I'm making a difference because I won't be silent. A blessing to you, little Paxton. Michelle Cruz, thank you for helping us make this major decision. Right? That was me when I was on Facebook. Okay. Ari, Well, after skimming through and clicking through these comments, when my motherhood knocks on my door with a son, he will be keeping his whole penis. We will be bringing home a whole baby. Awesome, right? Let's see. Okay. I've seen a lot of my fellow intactivists having a hard time lately. Just wanted to post something happy for you guys. This is my sweet baby boy who was saved by bloodstained men. He's literally the most perfect baby in every single way. Thank you guys for what you do. Look at that smile. What would you do for that child? Anything, right? Come on. Okay. Hi, Jerry. This is a good one. It's awesome when someone shares how us intactivists are making a difference. I feel honored and overjoyed, but most importantly, I'm happy your son is whole. When you get one of these responses, and it's not enough, it's not often enough, but it is like being on top of the world. It's like you won the lottery. It's just fantastic. Okay. Hi, Jerry. I have to admit, I hid your profile from view in my feed because your circumcision posts. When I became president with my son, you came to mind, and I really dug in and researched. He is healthy. Oops. I missed the rest of that. Dang. I don't know, but he's healthy and whole. Okay, so that's fantastic, right? Unfortunately, I didn't get the whole thing on that. Okay, let's see. Here's Sarah. I got you in here, Sarah. I had 2 people today tell me today that due to my advocating, they left their son whole. I was not actively reaching out to either of these people. They both told me that they researched what I post. Pound Intactivism works, pound circumcision. I mean, this is great stuff, right? Like, anyways, so these success stories are awesome to hear too, right? We need to hear this. We need to hear these success stories. So go through this and read this stuff. You know, this is motivation right here. Again, I will be filling out a little bit more of this stuff as I go through. So hopefully by next week, there should be a little bit more in here. And then again, I'm going to put it all online. So I have, I will be updating my website very, very soon. Any other questions, thoughts? Pull up anybody asking questions on the chat. I like your whoop there, Sarah. Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas, contributions? As far as where we are, as far as our progress is going, we are still in campaign number 2. And again, I'm not rushing it. So we got Scott's working on California. We got Daniel Bryce finished Arkansas. I finished Nevada. Okay, we got how are you on Missouri? You're almost done with Missouri, James? I think you finished it, didn't you?
I just finished it prior to the meeting.
Now I get to fill this in here. That's a good feeling when we get those check marks. Okay, so we're close. We need to finish New York, and I need to get Scott working on with Lee on New York. I know, and I know we need to get. Let's see, we got Scott on California. How are you on California, Scott? Where are you at with that right now? Scott, you there? What happened to Scott? He was here earlier. You there, Scott? Anyways, okay. Anyways, that's where we're at. As far as sending, I'm going to be. Let's see. I think Chuck finished Washington. I got to talk to Chuck. I'm going to take over Kansas because I don't know where Luke's at. Sarah, how are you on Oklahoma? Did you finish Oklahoma? I don't even know.
Oklahoma's done. I just sent you like any like bad links or anything. There wasn't very many of them, but I emailed it to you earlier. So
yeah, guys, just check this out right over here. These are the lists being cleaned. All these lists are, what I mean being cleaned is, you know, when we had the first gather, so we first went out and gathered them, and then we had to go through them and start sending to them, right? That sending process exposed a lot of bad links or old links or whatever. You know, we've been gathering this database for almost 2 years now. So some of these databases are 2 years old. So we had to go through and organize these and make sure that, so now that all of these are literally should be active links. So from now on, when you get links, you should maybe have 1 or 2 that don't work at the most. So you should be going through this a lot faster, a lot easier. and you should have a lot less broken links. Again, if you have any broken links whatsoever, a solution to that is just save that link and send it to me, and then I'll figure it out from there. So what I have to do is I have to go through the original database, pull it out of the original database, because and then put it into the new system that we have. Okay, let me see. Someone responded. Campaign. Send me another state for campaign 2 if you have one. Yes, we do. Okay, Sarah, I will. Okay, so yeah, let's see. We're very close to being done with campaign email 2. So here's what I'm going to be doing this next week myself is I'm going to continue with the MIME library, organizing that, getting that done, and hopefully set up together. I'm going to be getting the website set up so that once the website is, once the MIMEs are re-uploaded into the data, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to erase every image on my website. Okay, I'm going to reinstall every image on the website. I'm going to upload every image on the website. Now, when I go through to remake everything, it's going to be so fast because all I have to do is type it out and it's going to pop up what I need. So instead of like, it's going to be faster and easier. Anyways, so that's the thing I'm going to do. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to finish. I'm going to go through email 3, which is the, let's see, what was I forgot what email 3 was even about. Let me see the blog. I think email 3 is the different types of cutting. The different types of cutting, this is a shorter email. It's more on the different female genital mutilation types 1 through 4, or 1 through 3, 1 through 4. Why is this so slow? Okay, here we go. Okay, so yeah, in order to eradicate FGM, we must understand it. So the concept I'm using with this one, in order to eradicate FGM, we must understand it. The concept I'm using on this one is that if we don't acknowledge the true facts of FGM, like the different types of cutting that are occurring, when we go to a woman from the Bora tribe, and she's only had the katana, which is maybe a ritual nick or even a clitoral hood removal at the most, okay, and she's had her clitoral hood removed, which is arguably far less influential on this on the quality of sexual experience, far less harmful or painful to remove. So this is far less damaging. And we say, hey, we're going to treat her like she's, went through the, FGM 1 through 3, the worst kinds, and has had infibulation, as well as labia majora, labia minora, clitoral hood, and clitoral head removal, and infibulation, which is sewing of the opening shut. That's a drastic difference, right, between one to the other. Okay, one's pretty close to castration, and the other one is, just a cut, like a nick, right? So if we go and we tell the Bora tribe, we treat them like they're, had the Feroic, extreme, not Feroic, I guess, but the extreme female genital cutting, then they're not going to, that's the problem, is that we're speaking to them, they don't even understand what we're talking about. And that's why they're not going to stop it. Okay, so unless we understand it, we can't stop it. So this is kind of like the gist of this email and why we're trying to get people to understand it. And so anyways, so this one just kind of talks about the different types of FGM, okay? And I'm going to go through this and I'm going to make sure that one's really good. And then the other, I'm going to break up, and I've already done a lot of work on this, but I'm breaking up this email, this one right here. The American cultural biases are fueling the female genital mutilation crisis in America right now. I'm going to break this up into 2 emails. The first email is going to be on the cultural reasons why FGM continues. And the last one's and the last one on that one, the 5th one, which will be the 5th email, will be on why our approach has being why our hypocrisy of denying the harm of male genital mutilation is causing us not to be able to end or have any noticeable influence on ending female genital mutilation. What I'm going to be doing with that one, and it's probably the most important email of the series, it's going to be connecting, that's going to be really the linchpin that connects FGM to MGM. The 6th email is going to be the embryonic development. Okay, and the embryonic development, what that's going to do is it's going to give an initial information that, hey, we've gone through the end of this whole FGM campaign. We got to the 6th email, and if you've read all 5 of these up to the 6th one, okay, when you get to that one, and now we're broaching the connection that, hey, when we start off as infants, we're all the same, that we don't specialize until, you know, the hormones and stuff like that. You know, we literally have the same tissues, male and female, and that specialization happens through, you know, the hormones. So we literally have the same genital tissue. This is the whole concept of this series of mimes. If you go to the anatomy, structure, and function of the embryonic development of the sex organs. So if you look at this image right here, one's female, one's male. Okay, the one on the left is male, and the one on the female's, one on the right's female. You don't even notice the difference, except the one on the right's got a little bit longer of a cut or of a separation between there, right? So anyways, we literally start off with the same genitals. So one of these mimes is, inside, all babies are equal, male and female alike. Outside, all babies are equal too. Say no to circumcision. Okay, and then you got the differentiation of the sex organs. And the point of this is that we both have the same homogeneous tissue, or I forgot how to say that word, or equivalent tissue, I guess is a better way of saying it. There's a word for it, but the same equivalent homogeneous tissue. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Yeah, the same homogeneous tissue. And so if we have the same homogeneous tissue, how does it all of a sudden become okay to cut one child, you know, a little bit later than another child, right? So, and that's also breaching the next campaign, which is going to be it's introducing the next campaign. So it's kind of a segue into the next campaign on anatomy, structure, and function, which is going to be a flagship, kind of our flagship education program that is going to be for Intactivists, as well as for doulas and midwives, as well as for this campaign, right? So that campaign is going to be part of our whole education series that we're going to create for mothers and, for doulas and midwives, as well as Intactivists. This is all going to go on our education library right here in the NLI education library. So eventually this will be filled out with with my collection of high value information I've collected over about 7 years of doing this, basically. So like the anatomy, structure, and function. So for instance, if you want to get some links and some very powerful information on any of this stuff, what I did was I put my stuff, the most powerful stuff that I found over the last 6 years, 7 years, into this information. So this is all the stuff that is, if I was a beginning Intactivist, this is what I would want. After 7 years of studying this, compiling 7 years, if I could go back to when I first started, this is what I would give myself. You know, kind of like what you would go back and teach yourself when you were 10, right? This is the stuff that I would give to my early Intactivist self. Okay, this speech by Marilyn Milos, this talk on Marilyn Milos on Bonobo 3D's channel, you have to listen to this. It's just my go-to. This is, if I'm going to give somebody that's maybe what I consider an intelligent person, like an educated person that needs to, you know, like an intelligent person or an educated person wants to find logic to validate their opinions and positions, right? They have to have some premise to give them their conclusions, right? And so this is what I would need for myself as an intelligent person. So for instance, Dr. Sorrell's study, the penile sensitivity test, the video on the functions of the foreskin. I need to get this active. Intermission functions of the foreskin. This one by Professor McGrath. He talks about the studies of the. Okay, so let me just give you an overall understanding of this. Marilyn Milos right here. It's a basic like a general information on anatomy and structure and function by a nurse, right? She's a nurse, so she's a qualified medical professional. And then we've got Dr. Sorrell's right here, the penile sensitivity test, which is, you know, some of the most powerful information as Intactivists that we have. And those are, you know, these images right here. This is where this came from. Okay, this fine touch sensitivity testing. There's the mechanical functions of the foreskin right here on this, the video of the functions of the foreskin. Let me just show you guys this. Oh, this one kind of goes into depth on the structure. This is Oh, here's what I was looking for. This talks about the mucosal barrier. So a mucosa, let me just try to find this image. This is the image I was looking for. And I just found it. This is going in the MIME library. Okay, this image I was looking for. Okay, this is regular dermis over here. Okay, so this is regular skin on your outside. See how thick it is? This is mucosal surface. Okay, very, very different, right? See how thin that is? Okay, so this is thin, this is thick. I love this image. Let me just save this right here because I need to put this in our MIME library. This is going into the MIME library. Does that work? Come on, computer. Oh God, why is it not working? Jesus Christ. Computer programmers need to be smacked. You know, like you can't print screens anymore. You can't send emails anymore. Zoom doesn't work anymore. I mean, gosh, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'll quit bitching. Okay, so anyways, this is I organize this into, this is all extremely powerful information. So how the foreskin moves. There's the truth of Jennifer Bozzio's study. This is a very important one to understand. If you've read about Jennifer Bozzio's study, Jennifer Bozzio basically did what she could to screw up and mislead people on what Dr. Sorrells did. So she really did Dr. Sorrells' test, then lied about her conclusions when her conclusions literally validated what he was showing. Okay, so she showed us that number one, the foreskin was the most sensitive to fine touch, also to temperature, more sensitive than the hands, than your feet, than any other area of your body. And she proved it. And then she lied and said it just has no, that the foreskin isn't involved in sexual function, which is crazy. It's ludicrous. So this is a really good article on her conclusions, which I think you should read, from Huffington Post. And this knowledge is stuff that I want to make sure Intactivists have. So anyways, what I was saying earlier is this library down here is just going to be like a database of information. But I'm going to adjust this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put over another section right over here, probably to the right here, and another column. And that whole column is just going to be about, it's going to be connecting into another whole page that's going to be just about Intactivist education. Okay, so for instance, we've done a series of videos on that we've already completed on how to do this, how to do the tele-intactivism, which is going to happen. That's the third stage, right? The third phase, which is going to happen after we finish the second phase of sending these emails. So after we've sent that sixth and final email of the FGM campaign, then we're going to do tele-intactivism for three weeks, where we're going to be calling these people, and the people we're going to be calling will be very, very high value. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to make all of this hard work that we've been doing extremely fun. We're going to be what I'm encouraging Intactivists to do is during the phone calls is record them. At the end of the phone call, you can ask the person if you mind sharing, if they mind making a statement on it, and then share the whole recording. You've gotten them to say, okay, that's the way I'm getting around, because people respond differently when they know they're being recorded, but it's illegal to record somebody when they don't know they're being recorded. So if we can't take a recording that somebody doesn't know that we were recording and share it on YouTube, okay, because it's illegal, literally illegal. So in some states or whatever it is. So the way to get around that, what I do is I record it. Near the end of the conversation, I say, would you mind making a recorded statement? And if they say yes, then cool. If they say no, cool. What I'll do with the recording is I'll use it for my own personal, I'll go listen to my own personal, and you want to go and kind of review yourself, after you've done the phone calls, or record them, you listen to them and just think, what could I have done better? What can I do better next time? And what that's going to help you do, it's just going to help you be better and very, very quickly, to be very, very effective at what you're doing, because you're just going to get better at it, right? The more you do it, the better at you're going to be at it. So anyways, so that whole Intactivist education system is going to be based off of a lot of the anatomy, structure, and function stuff that we're going to be creating in this next series. So anyways, that's where we're going with things. Like I said, we're going to finish this one. We're going to send out email number. We're almost done with email 2. We're going to start campaign number 3 as soon as possible. So as soon as I get these, as soon as we get these ones sent, I'll be contacting you guys and we'll start working on number 3. I'm not going to try to organize who's going to do number 3 yet. I was going to do that today, but let's just worry about that through. I'll text you guys. We'll do that one-on-one, and we'll organize that separately this time. But anyways, I'm just going to go through, rewrite the email 3. If anybody wants to go through and edit it with me, if you listed yourself as an editor, I'm probably going to send you an email to help me with it, and then I'll get a little bit, a couple days for a response. But anybody that wants to edit the email number 3, please let me know, because again, if I have a booger on my face, I want to know. I suck at grammar. You know, if you can make me effective and more effective and efficient by modifying the way I'm saying things, it can help me to be better at reaching people, then I'm going to take that advice. So again, everybody that, if you're sending this stuff, you have to be fully aware of what it is and how it's going to be valuable, how it's going to help us reach our goals, because I want you to feel committed to it, right? So I want you to take ownership of what I'm writing. And what I mean by that is, if you don't agree with it, if you think there's a better way of doing it, I want you to tell me. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to, some random person may say something that nobody else agrees with. I'm not going to say I'm just going to do it just because you said it, but we're going to try to come to a conclusion where I want you feeling fully confident in sending anything that I've written, right? So I don't want anybody having any questions. So if you have some questions, some concerns, whatever it is, let me know and we will address those. And I may ask other people for their advice too. And I may, if your advice sucks and 5 people disagree with you, I'm going to override you. I apologize. But, it's kind of like we're all in this together, but we have to make sure everybody agrees, right? So there is a little bit of that, but really, like, anybody that comes to me and helps me make this better, I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to make it better, right? That's just the way I work. So anyways, that's it. We're going to be finishing email 2, starting to send email 3. Email 4 and 5 is going to be broken into 2 separate emails. Once those are completely finished and set up, we're going to be sending those out. I will be also starting to write the campaign for the next campaign that's going to start with anatomy, structure, and function. And what we're going to do is we'll probably meet up on our Monday meetup groups, and we'll actually sit down and kind of solidify how we want to organize that next campaign. And then that way anybody can add their own, contribution or their own opinions or their own, spice to the sauce, right? So again, I want everybody to feel 100% confident in what we're sending. And if you don't feel confident in what we're sending, please come to me, let me know. All I'm going to do is take that as constructive criticism. If your advice sucks, you may be overridden. I apologize about that, but we got to make sure everybody's on board. Other than that, I think that's covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover today. Did anybody have any thoughts, questions, contributions? We've been going for like 2 hours. I'm trying not to talk so much, but it is what it is. Okay, any thoughts, ideas, contributions before we close down? All right, let me stop sharing screen here. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate you guys coming. I mean, everybody that's here has been coming for probably, 6 months now? I think we started this at the beginning of the year, and it's already 8. So 8 months now we've been doing this. And yeah, 8 months. And I know we've only gotten to email 3 of our first campaign, but all that stuff that we've created, it's there, right? Like, the system is there. The system is just going to become more efficient. Now that you guys have, we've cleaned the list, the initial send from the email 1, we've cleaned the list. So now the lists are going to be so much faster and easier to send. So anybody that jumps on, you're going to get a clean list. All you're doing is copying and sending. It's very, very simple. And again, as soon as we're done sending the 6 emails, I expect the last couple of emails, like 3, 4, 5, and 6 to go a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. I mean, the first one, it took like almost a month to get the first one out, but that's okay. This last one, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. But I expect 3 and 4 to go probably at the max 2 weeks apart. So that's what I'm going for, is for the last part of this campaign is probably about every 2 weeks, we'll try to get each email out. And then we're going to do the Intactivism. And again, that's going to be very, very fun. Everybody that's on here, you guys have been, you're like my core group, right? When we start doing that Intactivism, that's where so much fun is going to be had. I don't know if you read my blog. Let me just show you this real quick. If you haven't heard this from me, but there's this one blog that I wrote about this. I had a Intactivism moment, okay? And this is really what really kind of influenced me to really realize how powerful the Intactivism is going to be. Okay, so I was doing some research on HPV and the excuses, the bullshit reasons for behind, the science behind it, the supposed science behind it, right? And I found this one researcher. So she contributed to this one study on HPV that showed some minuscule. I don't know if you know anything about statistics, but within a study, there's what's called a standard deviation. Standard deviation means it's the effectiveness of the measurement, whether or not it's, you give a little bit of room for error within the measurement itself. And the standard deviation is usually a small room for error, right? So if a result of a study doesn't make it out of the standard deviation, okay, the results are very minuscule, right? So the standard deviation is basically, if your study doesn't show, it doesn't even go outside of standard deviation, it doesn't really show anything. Well, if you look at, for instance, the HIV studies, you have this, these people, and you take this very small number, okay, out of all the people that did the project, this very, very small number of people got HIV, okay? And they took the people that were circumcised and they, subtracted the people that were not circumcised, and they said, oh, we have a 60% reduction in HIV transmission. But what it was a very small number of a very small number, which was within the standard deviation of the model. So the model itself was not even worth it, right? Because it was within the standard deviation. So what I'm saying is these studies are just ridiculous. So this study was, I researched, I'm like, look at these minuscule numbers. I'm like, you're utilizing this ridiculous study to justify this. So I go on this study. Now, if you want to do research on studies, right? So I think it's very important for people to understand how to read studies, how to critically critique studies, okay? So for instance, you should have a checklist, like who paid for the study, okay? What was the purpose of the study? Who benefits from the study? Is there a financial benefit to any outcome from the study? Okay, you utilize those things to make an opinion on like how valid is the study, and then you read the study, right? And then you're gonna, utilize the statistics. Does the statistics match? Is the difference between the hypothesis and the control study, was that within the standard deviation? These are the types of things that you ask questions about when you're doing these studies. So what I did is I was reading this study and I look at and I go through. So I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. I read one study. Now, when you read a study, go to the bottom of that study and look at the references, right? Now you have 10 other studies that say kind of similar things, right? That they're utilizing to support their study, right? And this is how you can find the rabbit hole. You can go down into the rabbit hole and just keep searching, because one study will have another list of 10 other studies, right? And you can just literally go down the rabbit hole of study searching. And that's what I did. Well, I found this one study on HPV, and at the end of the study, it gave me this lady's name and information, okay? So I did a Google search, found out her phone number, right? Found all this information about her, okay? So she happens to be a PhD who teaches medical students, who teaches in specific pediatricians at the University of Tennessee, okay? So I called this lady, and my point of the call was not to sing Kumbaya or to have a positive outcome or convince her that she was wrong or to sway her to my side or nothing like that. I wasn't expecting an outcome. My outcome was relieving my internal stress, okay? That I'm reading this ridiculous study by the supposed educated person. The results are so ridiculous. So I brought this to her. I called her up. Surprisingly, she answered the phone. It's like, Dr. So-and-so. I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't expect that. So I start talking to her, and I'm just telling her, I was like, look, I found that you were part of this study. I feel like I'm a victim of this study because I was cut. And, I start telling her, like, I'm missing half the surface area, 3/4 of the nerves. you know, the most sensitive parts of my genitals are gone. The mechanical function, you know, this is a moving structure, is gone. You know, the way I make love is changed. You know, I was literally tortured. And so I'm sitting here just kind of like, you know, just telling her these things. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was very young when I did that study. I was just fresh out of grad school. I didn't even know what the study was about when I signed up for it. It was basically a, you know, part of, part of my education. And she's like, I really regret that study. And when she said that, I could hear her voice change. Like I could hear like an emotion to it. Like this lady has feelings behind this. I was shocked. She apologized. She said, you know, she completely said that she was wrong to be part of that study. She regrets it. And then she says to me, and when I started talking to her, we had this fantastic conversation, completely different than what I was expecting, right? Like completely different. But this is what you got to expect when you're talking to educated people. Like a lot of these people are going to get it. Like there's a mime that says that 1/3 of pediatricians and OBGYNs disagree with circumcision, according to some statistic. I don't know where that came from, but there's opposition to this out there. We just need to stimulate it, right? Well, this lady, the outcome of this was, no, she's not actually going to stand with protest signs outside of the University of Tennessee. She has her limitations with what she can do with it. She's not going to be coming in hardcore intactivist like I want her to. But what she's going to do is she said to me, give me all the scientific information you have. I have students every year that come to me, and I have this folder that's full of important information that every medical student gets. I will make sure that this information is within that folder and that I discuss it with them. And I was like, what? Wow, right? Like, okay, here I have this lady that was doing research that had a study that had a positive supposed outcome of circumcision, who literally is now sharing Dr. Sorrells, Dr. Taylor Colden Lockwood, all this stuff that I just showed you in that education part. All of my top information is going to these pediatricians, right? And how fantastic is that, right? That's one phone call, one person, okay? And you can read about it here on my blog, but that was just one person. And I wrote about it in detail here. So go through, this is going to be when we get to the end of a 6 email campaign and we do our phone calls. And when we do the phone calls, they're not high pressure phone calls. They're not, hey, we're going to change your mind on this phone calls. They're literally phone calls to gauge the effectiveness and efficiency of our campaign. So we're going to call them. We're going to say, how did our campaign influence you? What are your feelings on this? Did your feelings change through this or how did your feelings change? We got to answer open-ended questions. I'm sorry, not did your feelings change, which is a closed-ended question, which the answer is yes or no. How did your feelings change, which is an open-ended question. Okay, so that's what Paul Sedermeyer, that's going to be part of this Intactivist education plan, which will be here in the, like I said, the education library. But anyways, so you're going to be asking these questions. You're going to be gauging the effectiveness of our campaign, and then what you're doing is you're creating a connection with this person. You're not off-putting. You're not coming at them. You're not aggressive. You're broaching the subject. They've already got an email campaign, so there's a seasoned, high quality lead. Now, if you talk about sales, right? So we're talking about sales and all that type of stuff, or marketing or whatever. I'm trying to sell a product. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're literally trying to sell a product, right? So we're doing sales. This is sales. Don't kid yourself. This is we're trying to influence people. So anyways, at the end of a campaign or a 6 email campaign, followed by now the cool thing is once the system's set up, and I'm still working on this, and I apologize if that's kind of lagging behind, but the email system is still being worked on. But once that's set up, you're going to be able to know how many emails this person has gotten, right? So if this person has read 6 emails or 5 emails or 4 emails, you're going to know. So if they read 3 emails, you can call them and say, hey, we had a couple other emails. Can we, would you mind reading them so we can, we just really want to get your feedback, to see if we're being effective at what we're trying to educate people on. You know what I'm saying? We're asking them for their contribution as opposed to, hey, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Listen to us. We're smarter than you. You know what I mean? The approach is different, right? So that's all I'm saying is that it's gonna be so awesome when we get to that stage. So hang in there. I know this is taking a lot longer than we originally planned out for, but the systems are being built, the process is being built. It's going to be more effective, more efficient every time. The mime thing is going to be the image thing is going to be huge for me. Is going to make me more effective at filling out this education library. I know I've showed you guys. I have, 7 years of research. I guess I could start saying 7 now. 7 years of research on this, all compiled into a Evernote system, and I'm going to put all of that information on here. So that's going to be going up on here, and then we're also going to be having the Intactivist education system up on here, and that's where we're at. I know I'm talking. I'm going to shut up and end the session here. Anybody want to say anything else? Any other contributions? All right, cool, guys. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. So next week, same time, same channel. I'm going to start using Zoom. Hopefully we don't have the same problems that we had a couple times ago. But anyways, all right, guys, I will talk to you later. Thank you.
Break up the adhesions between the foreskin and the head of the penis.
In pediatrics, the reason we're circumcising is mainly because you feel more comfortable with a circumcised penis, especially since your other 2 children are already circumcised, right? Basically what we're doing is an elective procedure, primarily because you just feel more comfortable. In the clamp, then we clamp it.
Behind circumcisions. Hospitals and doctors can make big bucks off the procedure, especially since the foreskin doesn't always go out with the biohazard. Sometimes it's sold for a profit.
Look at the data. It looks like there are some things that it does reduce the incidence of, but there are things that are incredibly rare anyway.
There are religious, ethical, cultural, and medical reasons to circumcise. For Father Kobe Johnson, despite being circumcised himself, he decided not to circumcise his 4 boys.
The concern of, I'm going to look different than my dad, or I'm going to look different than the other guys in the middle school shower, it doesn't really come up that much.
To him, medical benefits didn't outweigh the risks.